Hey there, Cancer. Welcome to your reading for the month of June 2016. So this month I'm doing something a little bit different for the monthly videos. The monthly videos were for a long time there were pretty much just like the weeklies. So I want to try something new, and I split the cards up into sections. So let me know what you think. But starting it off here with the main focus for the month of June, you have the Ten of Clubs. Ten of Clubs is a good card. It's a card of learning, for sure, and needing to learn more things. I would say it's a card of sharpening your skills in a lot of ways. It's also a card of teaching, so a lot of you might be teaching as well, which would also be very beneficial for you this month. This card also has to do with travel. A lot of you could be planning on traveling, planning a move. Again, this card has more to do with planning. As far as I'm concerned, pretty much all water signs really want to move right now, unless you already have. If you already have, then you're probably over the last year or so, you're probably pretty happy where you are, at least happier. And if you haven't yet, a lot of you might want to be moving. So a lot of you might be thinking about those things. Also, kind of as a little side note, this card can have to do with going to weddings and events like that. So a lot of you might be going to weddings. And finally, this card is always considered a good omen. It's a good new beginning type of card. So a lot of you might be having a lot of good new beginnings this month. It's a very good card to get. It's a great card for abundance as well, abundance coming to you in a lot of different ways. Next, you have the Queen of Clubs. So needing to trust your intuition definitely this month, and trust how you're feeling. I would say it's a great month for learning in general. It's a great month for intuition in general, and a great month to stay open to teaching opportunities as well. You never know. But this is also a card of authority. So a lot of you might be dealing with authority figures this month. I would say rather positively. The Queen of Clubs is always rather positive. So a lot of you could have some positive interactions with bosses, or just somebody you consider an authority or a mentor. Could really help you out this month. And next, you have the Three of Clubs, which is an awesome card of getting second chances, having a second chance at something, and really having to make the right choice this time. Though that's kind of the one trick with this card is that while it's a card of having something come back around, there's usually a temptation to do something that you've always done, kind of playing it safe. And this is not a card to play it safe. So a lot of times this card will come back up, and maybe you have a second chance to start over in a relationship, or maybe you're presented with two relationships. And one relationship is the same old type of person that you usually go with, who is wrong with you, but maybe it's the safe choice. And then the other person is somebody different, somebody new, that you've never experienced before. And with this card, it's you want to pick the new thing. And this isn't just about love, it's about everything. So you could be presented with choices financially and business and things like that. It's about picking the new choice with this card. Next, in the area of love, you have the Ten of Spades coming up first. So a lot of you could be going through a lot of transformations in love in a lot of ways. I would say that a lot of you probably have been through it as far as love is concerned. Many of you probably just haven't had any at all with this card in the past, but it's a good card of transformation and new love coming into you. So I really like to see that, because this is kind of like a death card, and it brings love to us, which is really nice, and new love coming in. But it is a card of worrying, so the card definitely wants you to not worry about those things either. Sometimes we can over worry with a Ten of Spades, especially if we haven't had a relationship. We can be oh, I'm never gonna have a relationship. We can start that kind of negative self-talk cycle, and this card definitely wants you to end that. Next, you have the Jack of Diamonds. So a lot of you in love could have an admirer, somebody who's interested in you. It would probably be at work, showing up here as a Jack of Diamonds. And if you're already in a relationship, this card can just represent needing to have a little bit more fun in your relationship. Again, if you have one. If not, it can represent meeting somebody even in uniform, somebody who's in the military or something like that. But the card can also represent anxieties. So again, a lot of you might have anxieties around love and things like that. And even if you're in a relationship, you might have anxieties around love that you need to work on this month. Being a Diamonds card, it's a great card for working on any anxieties and things like that you could potentially have in relationships. Next, you have the Three of Hearts, which is a very good card. It's a card of emotional happiness, feeling very happy as well, in love, in a relationship. and even if you're not interested in love, you're not interested in a relationship, it is just a card of feeling really good, feeling really happy with yourself. Again, kind of like that other three, it is a card of having a choice in love too. So a lot of you could like see an old type of relationship and then a new type of relationship, and it's all about making that right choice. It can also be a card of indecision. So maybe some of you are like stuck in a relationship that you don't want to be in anymore. So this is a card of like needing to make that decision to move on. Other than that, it can be a card of being obsessive and being obsessed with somebody. So if you're finding yourself becoming obsessive over somebody, definitely try to like work past that and not let that control you as well. Next, in your area of finances here, you have, well, you start with the Lover's card in reverse. And in finance, this is a card of not being able to make a decision, having indecision, needing to make better choices, and also usually with the Lovers in reverse, it's like, we don't want to see what we need to be looking at. So, a lot of you could have debts and things like that you need to take care of, but maybe you're like trying to hide from it or whatever. And this is definitely a card of like needing to make some decisions financially to take care of those things. I actually think, judging by what you have here, that a lot of you are becoming a lot more financially responsible and taking care of any possible issues that you could potentially have. But this is definitely a card of, if you have something, don't hide from it. Definitely look at it and take care of it as well. Next, you have the King of Spades coming up. So a lot of you could be receiving like a lot of justice in finance as well. You have the Queen of Spades coming up after this King of Spades. So there could be like a lot of justice coming in for you as far as finance goes, especially if there's been some injustices in the past. Like maybe you lost money, maybe you weren't paid a certain amount, maybe you're involved in something illegal. Could be very literal that involves finance. All sorts of things come up here. So a lot of you could be receiving some sort of, justice in regards to financial type situations. This is a card of you of also planning out your finances. Both these spades cards represent using your resources wisely. So it would be probably a very good month to look at your resources. Maybe even look at how you can make more. Maybe look at how you can save more. All sorts of good things like that. This is a very good card. It's definitely a card of having been through some negative financial situations and having learned from those things. So that's also, I would say, a rather positive thing, is that this card does represent actually having truly learned from those situations. Next, you have the Queen of Spades. I would say with those two things together, a lot of you could even be receiving some help from your parents. So maybe you need help, maybe you need a loan or something like that. So maybe some of you could be receiving some sort of loan this month from parents or people around you. And maybe you don't even need help. Maybe it's just for a business or something like that you're looking for a loan. So a lot of you could be looking for those things. But this is a card of not giving up. It's also a card of being very perseverant. So financially, business-wise, job-wise, again, we're focusing on finances here in this section. Definitely keep going. Don't give up. These are cards of being very close to what you want as well. So that's really nice. Next, we're going to take a look at spirituality and emotions, kind of like your mental state as well here. And you start off with the Eight of Spades, which is actually a very spiritual card. Spades represent spirituality. So when we're not looking at, just a general reading or a question, this is a very spiritual card. It is a card of focusing on obstacles and looking at how you can overcome obstacles. And it's also a card of needing to take a break. So a lot of you maybe spiritually need to take a break. Maybe you just need a vacation, to better yourself spiritually even. Or maybe, having a vacation always has a spiritual benefit for us. So again, this is a card of needing a vacation, needing to take a break. And it's also a card of stepping away. Maybe some of you need to take part in hobbies or things like that as well. Some things that you do for fun, because if you are experiencing any obstacles in life, it's when we like step away and totally forget about it that we come up with like the best idea ever to overcome the obstacle. So again, a lot of you could be thinking about those things. Next, you have the Ten of Hearts. Very good card for spirituality and feeling good as well. This is a card that represents good things happening to you after a difficult period of time. It's also a card of like marriage and things like that, and being very social. So I would say that social situations will probably benefit you greatly this month. Spiritually, benefit your emotional state as well, probably make you feel very positive and really good. This card also represents good news coming to you. There's this huge thing about messages coming in. even in the astrology, there's a lot about messages and, at least the way I look at it, and things coming to you. So definitely be open to like any messages that you could potentially get, anybody telling you things. Be open to those things. And even since we're talking about spirituality here, any intuitive messages that you get could be very beneficial for you this month. Next, and you have the Five of Clubs. So again, very intuitive, trusting your intuition, listening to your intuition, listening to what your intuition has to say, listening to your dreams, maybe even writing down your dreams in the morning so you can remember them, and then maybe you get some sort of little insight from that. It's also a card of needing a vacation, needing to take a trip. So I'd say that a lot of you Cancers are probably due for a vacation. Even if you don't go on it right now, you do have a lot of planning cards. So I think a lot of you could be planning like a move and things like that. And it is also a card of taking part in hobbies. So any of you who have hobbies that you do for fun, maybe you need to take part in those things to separate away. And then finally, I pull a card and I ask the deck, like, is there anything else that Cancer needs to know? And you have the King of Clubs. Some of you could be dealing with a difficult fire sign, like maybe a boss or something like that. I don't attach sex to the card, so it could be a male or female. But this card also represents intuition, trusting your intuition, and it can be also positive. It could be positive that a boss is coming to you, delivering you a message, helping you out, something like that. It could even be a friend who's really open and honest with you. So sometimes it can represent also that like honesty kind of stinging a little bit, but it would be good honesty. It would help you out and it would move you forward. So definitely pay attention to any messages you receive from people you look up to or really close friends and things like that this month. But all in all, looks like a great month. So thank you for watching and enjoy your month.